The American season has been a roller coaster. On their best days, this team can compete with anyone in the PGCBL. On their worst days, they struggle to keep up with the lineups of their opponents. But after 30 wins in 46 regular season games, your Americans have earned a spot in the PGCBL playoff field. Today, their entire season is on the line. One game to decide who gets a spot in the PGCBL's West Division Championship. It's put up or shut up, win or go home. Tarp Skunks have been a belt. The Americans are at their best. Which version of the team will we see today? It's the Americans. It's the Tarp Skunks. It's PGCBL baseball right here on the Americans Baseball Network.
That the ace of the Giant pitching staff that season was Niagara Falls native Sal Magley. A league low 2.71 earned run.
Tickets 716-215-6161.
And where do you play?
We play right at Sal Magley, gorgeous stadium.
Set the 1-0 to Boyle. Is hammered to right field. Go, baby. Come here, fence! Way out.
Good evening, everyone. We are live from Russell E. Dietrich Park for Americans and Tarp Skunks playoff baseball here on the Americans Baseball Network for the first time. First pitch will be at 6:30, and I am so excited to call my first playoff game as the American Manager Roberts. Been your broadcaster the entire season and will be staying with you throughout these playoffs. As long as the Americans win, I'm in. Alongside my color commentator, who we'll introduce in just a moment. My apologies in advance for any technical difficulties here between the heat and an older press box. Connection is a little in and out here, but I'm here alongside my color commentator, Avery Vogt. Avery, how you doing today?
You know, it's a big day here for the Niagara Falls Americans. First time in the playoffs ever in their history, so it's a do or don't here for the Americans. Either go home or keep playing, so it's definitely one of these games.
Oh, absolutely. It's going to be a fun one. These teams have been at it all season long. When the Americans have been hot, this is a team that they've been able to handle. When the bats have gone cold, it's a team they've struggled against. And that's why we called them the Americans Bellwether at the start of the broadcast here. But let's take a closer look at the full history season. The Americans are officially 4-5 against the Tarp Skunks on the year. They won their first 2 games before dropping 5 of the last 7. Graydon Miller, Chris Gazaldo, and Nick Pass, the best batters against the Tarp Skunks for the Americans. And C.J. Hurley, one of the best in ERA for the team, will be going up against these Tarp Skunks. Paul Wolf took a look at how this team had done in this matchup, and he chose Hurley accordingly here.
Yeah, it's a playoffs, so you got to be tight with your team. So Hurley seems to be the guy that Will Cordero, I would as well. So it seems to be the right start here for Hurley, and the rest of this lineup just got to keep their bats hot to back them up and see how far they can go in this game.
Yeah, fun fact about Hurley that I was able to pick up from Carmen Panaro, who plays with him at Niagara University. I also played travel ball with him. Back on their travel ball team, while C.J. Hurley did struggle on turf, had a 0 ERA on a dirt mound. And we are here in Jamestown on, what do you know, a dirt mound.
Yeah, it's definitely a different approach as the stadiums are a little bit different from Niagara Falls and here in Jamestown. So it's not much to change up, but you just got to be aware that the balls may bounce and roll differently than it would at Sal Magley Stadium. So it's definitely something to pay attention to and keep your heads up here when you're playing the infield, and especially the outfield.
Yeah, I mean, I feel this is the norm across the PGCBL. Sal Magley, the bounce on that field is unlike anything else, and that's something the players have to get used to. I mean, you and I know, having gone out there, those were some unusual bounces.
Yeah, it's definitely different on turf. It's got a little more oomph on the balls, but yeah, today is the old classic with the dirt and the grass field. I prefer a field, but You know, Sal Magley's got that rubber all around the stadium, so it's going to be a little bit different, but I feel these players are well adjusted to these fields.
Absolutely. And this game, very high stakes, and these playoffs move very fast. There's only 4 teams in the West Division that make the playoffs, and it's single elimination, at least within the West, to decide it. The winner of this game will advance tomorrow night to the PGCBL West Division Championship. We will show you the entire playoff bracket for the West here. Auburn and Batavia facing off at Dwyer Stadium tonight, and then Niagara Falls and Jamestown facing off here. The winners of those 2 games will face off. Auburn, but they would travel to Dwyer Stadium if it's Batavia. So even though they were unable to get that first round home game, there's a chance that we could see baseball at Sal Magley before this season ends.
Yeah, you know, as it's the second year with these Americans, didn't make the playoffs last year by 1 game, and this year they turn their season around and do even better than last year. So if they do win today and Auburn wins their game as well, playoffs are
starter for Auburn today, and that's by far the best pitcher for the Double Days. Well, actually, now that I look, Aiden Zur is being used as the starting pitcher, so it's possible they'd be saving Burchard for the potential championship, which would not be good for Niagara Falls. Burchard tore them up over in Auburn. However, having playoff baseball at Sal Magley, I think, would be some extra motivation to finally get revenge on the Double Days that have had their number all season long.
Yeah, the Americans, they like to put out a game in front of their fans back at home, so it'd be a great look for the Americans to get a playoff game finally at home, as unfortunately get to the 3rd seed this year. But hey, they made the playoffs, so you can't be mad about that. But yeah, as we said, a home game playoff would be an amazing thing for these Americans, especially in the West Championship. So it'd be high stakes at Sal Magley if it gets to that point.
Oh yeah, high stakes at Sal Magley indeed. But first, high stakes here at Dietrich Park. And as our managers meet out on the mound, the American starting lineup being announced. We will take a quick break before we start off this game. We'll be right back.
No, I'm kind of thirsty. Me too. We could really use something.
I just want to make sure everything's technically sound. Okay, wait. I'm still unmuted.
Oh, thanks, Yankee Doodle Dan.
We welcome you back to Dietrich Park ahead of this playoff game between the Americans and Tarp Skunks. Americans set to bat first as the road team, and number 3 seed will give you a look at their starting lineup. Alan Ramos leading off, playing shortstop. Ian Wang batting second and playing second. Gavin Boyle and Graydon Miller in their usual 3-4 spots. The heart of this order. Chris Gazaldo at third, batting fifth. He's done well against these Tarp Skunks. Carmen Panaro in center field, bats sixth, and then Shane Prey, Nick Past, and Connor Kiefer to round out this order. Kiefer in right field after that experiment went well over the last couple regular season games, switching him and Carmen Panaro. And they will be facing arguably the ace of these Jamestown Tarp Skunks. It's Christian Penchek. 4-1 record, 3.35 ERA, and 30 strikeouts. Now, the good news for the Americans, they've struggled a lot against Tarp Skunks lefties, and today they face a Tarp Skunks righty. But Penchek is a 2-time PGCBL Player of the Week. He tossed a no-hitter for Jamestown. This guy is a legitimate competitor.
Yeah, the Americans got to come out here swinging and make some really productive at-bats. And the one positive is starting right away. You got 2 lefties against this righty, so these Americans got to come out of the gate swinging here in their first playoff game and really show what they've done all season has been worth it.
Yeah, Ramos, Wang, and Boyle due up. Wang and Boyle will bat from the left side. Wang, the switch hitter, to face the righty Penchek. But first, Alan Ramos up to bat. 237 hitter on the season with a 635 OPS and 15 RBIs. Those stats are locked in for the season. Playoffs will not count towards their season totals, but they certainly count in the outcome of the American season. Every game counts from here. It is win or go home, and we are underway. It's an upstairs ball 1 to start things off. Ramos with the count in his favor, and that goes right by Jacob Haynes. Blows by him early in this game. And the Tarp Skunks are frankly lucky there that nobody was on base. Penchek, the pitch fouled off to the right side. Ramos still up in this count, though, despite the early strike. Steps back in. Originally committed to Wagner, now in his final days of deciding on his official home for next spring. That catches the outside edge of the zone for strike 2. Ramos even in this count. Looking to set the tone here against Penchek. Get on base, and he is a serious threat to steal. That's a high floater into right field. Backing up is Brady McGuire to make the grab from second base. The floating line drive falls right into his glove as he runs back.
Yeah, Ramos there made some contact with the ball and was looking for it to drop just shallow in the right field there, but unfortunately the first out comes with Ramos, but now we got the lefty Ian Wang up here.
Yes, Ian Wang, a 325 hitter on the season. That now leads the team with Grant Moore off the roster. That's down the pike for strike 1 to Ian. 837 OPS as well and 22 RBIs. So Wang, coming off the Player of the Week award, has some of the best numbers on this entire Americans team. The 0-1 pitch is grounded back to McGuire at second to throw to first in time for out number 2. Jamestown has 2 quick outs, and Brady McGuire the source of them.
Yeah, the Americans there just making some contact with the ball, although those balls would like to be going past the infield, but no luck there, so all up to Gavin Boyle here to keep this inning alive.
Gavin Boyle, 269 hitter, 821 OPS. Has some of the most pop on the team as well, 3 homers and 21 ribbies. That's just outside for ball 1. Boyle spent this past season at SUNY Niagara, played local here, but he's set to go to Southern Indiana. That's a Division I school. Swing and a miss. Puts it at 1-1. Boyle with a big cut there, but chases the low pitch. Penchek looking for a 1-2-3 inning to start off his day. his first start against these Americans this season. The 1-1 pitch swung on and missed again. Boyle going fishing for those low pitches. And he's down to his final strike, final out of the inning. Gavin set for the 1-2. Swing and a miss again. Gavin Boyle, 3 swings, 3 misses. And that'll do it for the top of the first. We'll give you the Jamestown lineup when we're back. The Americans scoreless as we head to the bottom.
My fellow American fans, my name is Frankie Morris, your social media manager. You can join us all summer long with many promotional nights and tickets just as low as $10. You can call and get tickets at 716-215-6161 and take a crack at the action.
We bring you back and give you the lineup for the Jamestown Tarp Skunks. Brady McGuire, per usual, leads things off. Among the team leaders in stolen bases, also batting .331. Nolan Smith at first base, bats second. Jacob Haynes and Ben Slanker, the power bats at 3 and 4. Justin Bremner has been hot as well, coming off the Player of the Week award. He's in center field. Nathan Borchardt, the DH, bats 6. Blake Herman at third in the 7th spot. Marshall, Weeks, and Costello. No slouches at the plate, and they round out this lineup. This is just a tough lineup from top to bottom for these Tarp Skunks, Avery.
Yeah, looking at this whole lineup, none of these batters have less than a .250 batting average. All of them, mostly, all in the 300s with their batting average. Tons of ribbies all across the board. This is a very deep batting lineup here for the Tarp Skunks. So the Americans really got to be in their A game here on defense today.
Yeah, the best lineup in the entire PGCBL. I'd argue the key for the Americans is their bats if they can get to Christian Penchek. But their starting pitcher on the bump is C.J. Hurley. Hurley, 1-3 of the .495 ERA on the season. However, against Jamestown, went 4 innings with 1 earned run and 2 strikeouts last time he started. The only time he started against the Tarp Skunks this year. The lefty throws a low inside ball 1 to Brady McGuire. The Tarp Skunks have a lot of good lefty bats, so it makes sense that Hurley thrives against this team. But that one grounded to Ramos at short. The throw to first. Will McGuire beat it out? No, he will not. 1 down early. Alan Ramos with a nice throw. He just makes it look easy out there every time, Avery.
I mean, that ball was a hot shot to Ramos. Took a little bounce, but, man, Ramos is a stud over there at shortstop. Makes that nice grab, and, I mean, he sends that ball to first base to Grady Miller to get a nice first out here for the Americans.
Nolan Smith up next, the first baseman out of SUNY Cortland. Lefty on lefty matchup for the first time today, and Hurley sends strike 1 on the inside part of the plate. Hurley throws one breaking ball on the outside corner. One's across the board. Nolan Smith sends that foul on the third base side. It's 1-2. So Hurley getting ahead in these counts early. It's what he always aims to do, just attack that zone, and the strikeouts will come naturally. A soft dribbler, the comebacker to Hurley. Throw to first in time for out number 2. C.J. Hurley making a play out there.
Yeah, looked like
number 2.
Looked like there that Nolan Smith kind of tried to get a check swing there, but he just makes a little bit of a weak contact, almost looked more like a bunt there. But, yeah, like you said, Andrew, rolls right back to C.J. Hurley. He's got to do a little bit of a 180 there to turn around and throw the ball to first, but successfully he gets there to first, so nice play there by C.J. Hurley.
It brings up Jacob Haynes. And that's another dribbler right by the plate. Pass makes the throw this time. 3 up, 3 down for Jamestown. We will send it to the top of the second after the break.
Fans, if you've been to a game, you know that I give away pizza to a lucky fan in the middle of the 3rd inning. But what you might not know is that Sammy's is located right across the street. They've also been family owned and operated for 3 generations since 1962 and originated the half tray of pizza. But if you're hungry at the game, you can stop by the concession stand and get a slice of Sammy's for yourself.
This top of the second inning is brought to you by Bully Hill Vineyards, a great place to grab lunch and taste over 40 different wines. Go to bullyhillvineyards.com for more. And as we get set for this top of the second inning, Pedcheck's still out there. Graydon Miller, Chris Gazaldo, and Carmpanaro out to face him. And as you saw, if you were watching the pregame of this broadcast, Miller and Gazaldo, the 2 leaders amongst the Americans in batting average against this Jamestown team. Miller, 364 against Jamestown. Gazaldo at 316, and Graydon Miller up first in this inning. Bit of a cold spell for him of late. He's batting 296 with a 718 OPS, but 30 RBIs on the year is just incredible. More than double his total from his first year with the team in 2024. Miller set for the first pitch. Fouls it off. That's a rocket into the first base stance. Keep hitting him like that. Eventually something's going to go fair.
Hey, maybe just switch up the timing a little bit there from Graydon Miller. But, yeah, he got some nice contact with the ball. Unfortunately, goes foul, but let's see how he adjusts here.
The 0-1 goes outside. A nice take by Miller. Yeah, it was just a little late on the contact with that foul ball. But if he can show some opposite field power, that would be good. Start with the unexpected for this Jamestown defense, but it's 2-1 on another outside ball from Penchek. Christian Penchek, when he's on, he's really on. I mean, has had some dazzling outings, a no-hitter earlier this season, but at the same time has had some rough ones as well. We'll see if the Americans can get to him. It's a foul ball right there on the third base side, right down the line to make it 2-2.
Yeah, that ball right there hit by Graydon Miller. It seemed like it was going to just dribble down the third base line, but fortunate enough for him, rolls foul, so he gets to stay alive here.
Miller hanging in there, as you mentioned, Avery. See if he can make something of it. There's another fly ball, foul territory, goes out of play. Smith chased it down, but that looked like it was going out from the very beginning.
Yeah, he would have had a probably jumping leading towards the fence, but just lands up in the stanchions, so staying alive here is Graydon Miller.
Miller taps the plate, ready to go with the even count to start off this inning. 364 hitter against these Skunks and sends one right up the middle back to Penchek. The flip to first gets him out. Be up to Chris Gazaldo to get a hit on the board for these Americans after 4 consecutive batters retired.
Yeah, Graydon Miller there just sends a roller up the middle. Seemed like it was going to get by Penchek, but unfortunately no dice as he just throws it over to first base, and now it's up to Chris Gazaldo, as you said, Andrew.
Chris Gazaldo, a 279 hitter on the year, 690 OPS. An even better 316 against Jamestown in particular. Strike 1. Finds that outside edge of the zone. Really just painted that line to the lefty batter's box. Some nice work from Penchek to get ahead in this count, but drops one in the dirt to even things up, ones across the board. Chris Gazaldo, one of 2 Panola products on this Americans team. Hudson Boring listed as a potential reliever. A lot of typical starters for the Americans. With a chance to come out of the bullpen today, the Americans put in their all into advancing to the next round. A ground ball to McGuire at second, the throw in time for out number 2. The Americans have barely even gotten a ball into the outfield yet.
Yeah, Chris Gonzalo there just sends a hot shot to Brady McGuire. Looked like it was going to roll past him, but he's got a nice glove over there at second base, so unfortunate the second out there for the Americans. Now we have an optimal lineup here for Carmen Pernara with a lefty on righty here.
Carmen Pernara, a 241 hitter with an 800 OPS. And yes, the lefty on righty matchup should favor Carm. Takes one inside for ball one. Pernara hasn't seen much time as a hitter against these Tarp Skunks. The most he's seen against them was picking up a save to give the Americans a 4-3 victory back in June. Fouled off, right side, goes right towards the Americans' dugout. John Ondas going to grab it. Ondas, an NU teammate of today's starter, CJ Hurley. The Americans already with action in the bullpen. Appears it'll be more of a committee day for the squad, but Hurley to start things out. Foul ball right down that left side. The Americans just pulling out all the stops for this Jamestown team. 4 of their 5 best pitchers potential to go in this game. Similar to what the Muck Dogs did that game, the Americans walked them off. They had all the best pitchers going up against the Americans, and Niagara Falls still managed to get to them.
Yeah, it's the playoffs here for these Americans. Got to pull out all the stops here. Got to throw everything you got here at the Tarp Skunks. So we'll see as this game progresses who comes in and how they handle these Tarp Skunks.
2's across the board, and it's upstairs to fill up this count. Carmen Pernara looking to be the first base runner for the Americans today. Been a pitcher's duel thus far. And another one upstairs. It's ball 4. Carmen Pernara gets on. And that's the first base runner for the Americans. Pernara looking to be advanced by Shane Prey, the 308 hitter with a 774 OPS.
Yeah, Carm right there is staying patient. Fouls off a couple balls, but he stays alive and now gets rewarded by the free bag to first.
Shane Prey looking to build on that free bag. Right down the pike for strike one, and he does not bite. Just trying to get a feel for Penchek here. Now we'll see what he does down in the count. Does he get more aggressive? That's inside at his helmet to even things up.
Yeah, Shane Prey here looking to just, like you said, Andrew, see some pitches as he gets a little chin music right there. So looking to adjust here.
Chin music indeed. Penchek, the 1-1 pitch. Another one at his head. And I mean, standing far out enough that he's not going to get whacked by these, but come pretty close. Count in his favor as a result. Penchek, the pitch, it's fouled off. And it's a lot smaller than the one over in Auburn, but Jamestown, with the digital element to their scoreboard right above, showing the pitcher Christian Penchek. A nice ballpark here at Dietrich. And Prey sends it up the middle, bounces off the glove of Penchek, but the throw to first from McGuire in time for out number 3. Americans get a runner on, but unable to make anything of it. We will send it to the bottom of the second after the break.
No, I'm kind of thirsty. Me too. We could really use something. Yeah. Oh, thanks, Yankee Doodle Dan.
We're back for the bottom of the second inning, and we will give you an update of the other playoff game happening tonight. Muck Dogs and Double Days. A little bit of a slower start in Batavia. It's still scoreless in the top of the first inning. Bobby Hardy, the first base runner for Auburn. See if the Double Days can pull out the victory in Batavia. It's not going to be easy. Hang on here.
As much as these playoffs are going to be different, as the broadcasting crew for these Americans, we would love to see Auburn pull out a win, provided that the Americans also win here, so we could have that nice home game at Sal Magley. So we'll see as this day progresses what happens on both sides of these games.
I mean, it's been an honor to broadcast in the Doug Smith press box this season. Me and you in there alongside our scorer Riley Drew Cross, our DJ Cam, and Doc Fonts, the public address announcer. One of the PGCBL's best, and it's ball one low to Ben Slanker here. Slanker has picked up a nickname here in Jamestown, otherwise known as Slank the Tank.
Yeah, rightfully so. His stats on the year are more than impressive, so clearly he's one of the better bats here for the Tarp Skunks, so we'll see how Hurley handles him here.
Upstairs strike to make it 2-1. Hurley, one of the few pitchers on the Americans who've actually managed to strike out Slanker in this left-on-left matchup. It's a lot easier. But throws one inside and high for ball three. Seems to be pitching around Slanker a bit. 420 hitter with an 1100 OPS. Had 21 bombs at Ohio University this year. And that's ball four just outside. That was a close call. Home plate umpire hesitated a bit.
Yeah, it seemed like Hurley there didn't really want to attack Slanker too much, not trying to give him something he could swing at, so it looked like Hurley was trying to paint the corners, and as much as he tried to just get that ball in the box, it didn't seem like the umpire was really biting at those, so it's a walk for Slanker, but it's a good outcome for the Americans to not let up a hit so far.
Definitely. I mean, very early here. But Justin Bremner up next and takes an outside strike one. Catches that outside edge over the lefty batter's box. Bremner steps back in, down in the count. Looking to advance. Ben Slanker got something going for Jamestown. Chance to score first here. That's fouled off to make it 0-2. So Hurley getting ahead in this count. Worth noting today, the first road trip for the Americans' bat boy Eli Collins. New to the team, and he's been excellent down the stretch of the season. Liner into right field, gets over the head of Wang for the base hit. Runners on first and second. The Tarp Skunks are threatening in the very second inning of work here for C.J. Hurley.
Yeah, Justin Bremner there just gets some contact with the ball. Not very strong, but it's enough to get past Ian Wang, as you mentioned, Andrew, and gets the first hit here for the Tarp Skunks with one runner in scoring position here. I
mean, the opposite field contact there was great from Bremner. A nice hook on it as well. I think that's what really fooled Ian Wang, is he thought it was going a different direction at first. Then heads to his right and over his head. It's inside for ball one to the new batter, Nathan Borchardt. He's been hot, 309 hitter with an 824 OPS. That OPS has skyrocketed from the 600s since the last time these teams faced off. Tarp Skunks really finished strong this season. They did lose 4-1 to Batavia on Sunday, but leading up to that, so many wins, 29-14 record at the end of the season, slightly ahead of the Americans at 30-16. Just a half game between these two, and it's a liner into left field now. Backing up, Gavin Boyle reaches up to make the grab. What a catch for Gavin Boyle. Everybody goes back. And it's one down on Jamestown.
Yeah, right there. Nathan Borchardt just makes some excellent contact with that ball. The ball has some distance on it, but luckily enough, the lockdown in left field right there by Gavin Boyle makes a nice grab to keep those runners held at their positions and got a nice first out here for the Americans.
Boyle was with his back facing the ball, reaches up to catch it backhanded. It was very impressive. C.J. Hurley dealing with the 7-hitter in this Skunks lineup, Blake Herman. Herman, the only Tarp Skunks hitter to face Hurley so far with a batting average below 300. The top 6 all above that marker. Eric Weeks at 246, the only one below Herman. Both of them Canisius products alongside Justin Bremner, who's on first base. Foul ball makes it ones across the board with Slanker on second and Bremner on first. And C.J. Hurley, if he can get out of this inning, would be all in all a strong performance against really the meat of this Jamestown order. Bremner and Slanker got the best of him, but see if Hurley can retire the side nonetheless. It's a grounder, gets past Ramos into left field for a base hit. And waved around to score is Slanker. Jamestown leads 1-0. Blake Herman coming up clutch, knocking in the runner. Sends Bremner to second as well. And Jamestown strikes first. So C.J. Hurley already the same number of earned runs that he had the entire start against Jamestown last time around. No more work in the Americans' bullpens, so they'll trust Hurley to settle in and keep going with 1 down and 2 on. Marshall, a .339 hitter, takes one upstairs for ball 1. That was parallel to his helmet. A little more down the middle, but still a ball as it's high. CJ looking to get back in this count. And it's another grounder. This one gets past Gazaldo for a base hit. Bremner waved around, but he has to go back as the throw would have gunned him out at home plate. Gavin Boyle with a nice cutoff. Got ahead of that. The bases are juiced, though, for Jamestown. C.J. Hurley needs to get out of this jam against a team that was formerly named the Jammers.
Yeah, that ball right there gets out of the infield, goes right to Gavin Boyle, but nice play by him to hold the runner at third. So looking to just get out of this inning without any more runs across here for the Americans.
Well, Eric Weeks, a .246 hitter, has been a little bit cold down the stretch of the season. We'll see if Hurley can take advantage of that, attack the zone a little more. First up, it's an outside ball, though. Weeks, another Canisius product, has his teammate Herman on second base as well as Bremner on third. Fly ball into deep center field. Panaro backing up, makes the grab. Bremner tags up here. The throw to third as Herman tags up too. Tag not in time. Both runners safe. Jamestown leads 2-0 on the sac fly. C.J. Hurley, really with the most traffic he's faced against these Tarp Skunks all season long. But looking to keep things in check here with 2 down. Next up, Dom Costello, the final hitter in the Jamestown order. Takes one up high, but in there for strike 1. Catches that high edge of the zone. So 0-1, 2 outs to face the .314 hitter Costello in a left-on-left matchup. Costello grounds that down the third base line, foul. Been a bit of a rotational bat for the Skunks. They have better defenders in the outfield, even though that's Costello's natural position, so he's been more of a DH-EH for the team of late, especially with Ben Slanker in town. Hurley down to the final strike on Dom. Sends it high. And a take of second base to put 2 runners in scoring position. That's Brady Marshall taking off.
It seemed as though
they're going to send him back.
Yeah, Dom Costello just called time just in the right before that pitch got across. Would have been a nice strike from Hurley, but fortunately no pitch.
Hurley the pitch just outside to make it 1-2. Yeah, it would have been a third strike there had it been a pitch, but umpire waving it off entirely. Costello in the 1-2 hole here. Pitch from Hurley is grounded and jumps right over him. The throw to first from Ramos is in time, though, for out number 3. So Jamestown scores 2, but it'll end right there with 2 runners on base. Jamestown leaves them as we head to the 3rd inning after the break.
My fellow American fans, my name is Frankie Morris, your social media manager. You can join us all summer long with many promotional nights and tickets just as low as $10. You can call and get tickets at 716-215-6161 and take a crack at the action.
Back for the 3rd inning. This 3rd inning is sponsored by Greater Niagara Federal Credit Union, Geico of Buffalo, Sammy's Pizza, and McDonald's. If the Americans score, you score. Every fan in the stands at an Americans home game gets a free McCafe frappe if the Americans score 3 runs. Ordered some McDonald's the other night. No frappe for me, but of course had to go with one of my classic snack wraps. Sammy's Pizza, the official pizza of the Americans. Another good option right by the stadium. In fact, right across the street.
Yeah, Sammy's over there. We've had their pizza all season long. It's a great slice of pizza if you ever had the chance to get it from there. But yeah, you're going with your snack wrap, Andrew, from McDonald's. But I got to give it up for their slushies there from McDonald's. They're very good. I love their Bill's slushy. It's like a mix of blue raspberry and cherry. It's very good. But
yeah, I mean, can only get it out here. Don't have that around me. I mean, at least in Ithaca, where I go to school, they have that. But unique to Western New York, as well as parts of upstate New York. Nick passed, pops that high, and chased down by Nolan Smith in foul territory. He almost makes the grab, but it drops out of play. I mean, yes, a foul ball on the right side, but it was very close to looking like one of those home run robberies.
Yeah, Nolan Smith there just leaned over the fence. Looked like he got a little bit of his glove on it, but just not enough to make that grab. So fortunate enough for Nick Past as he stays in this at-bat.
Passed. Down 0-1 in the count, though, and fouls another one off. This one more of a foul tip behind the plate. But in the 0-2 hole. Passed. A .267 hitter against Jamestown this season. That's 3rd on the team. Tarp Skunks pitchers have really feasted on these Americans' bats. And it's 1-2 as that one drops in the dirt. Penchek sets and delivers the 1-2. Swing and a miss. Nick passed. The 2nd strikeout victim today for Christian. It's Connor Kiefer up next, as the Americans still searching for their first hit in inning number 3. A .288 hitter with a .733 OPS. A good candidate to get that hit. Kiefer. It was especially hot in the middle of July. When the temperature went up, his bat did as well.
Yeah, Kiefer here. Not unfamiliar with this stadium as he played for Jamestown last year, so he's looking to get the first hit here across for the Americans as he fouls that one off.
0-1 to Kiefer. Saw Kiefer talking to some of the Jamestown staff before the game. So yeah, a bit of a homecoming for him. Also a bit of a homecoming, albeit a lot longer of a time ago, for Will Cordero. Played minor league baseball here in Jamestown before playing for the Expos in the majors. Popped foul, and that's going to go to the upper deck of the stands.
Yeah, and I was taking a walk around the stadium earlier, and I saw their Hall of Fame they have here. I had no idea Randy Johnson played here for Jamestown, so that's kind of a cool fact to learn.
Yeah, it used to be a single A team. Giancarlo Stanton as well, New York baseball legend. 0-2 that's down the first base line, but ruled foul. Third base line, rather, but nonetheless, Kiefer with a close one that just leans to the foul side after hugging the line.
Yeah, Kiefer really getting with an aggressive approach here, really just trying to get this ball into play and get something going here for these Americans. Unfortunately, though, that ball just rolls just a little bit foul, so he's got to go back to the plate and see if he can do it again, but make sure it's in play this time.
Definitely Kiefer likes to hit him down those lines. Swing and a miss. And down he goes. Christian Penchek has back-to-back strikeouts on the final 2 bats in the Americans' order. Back to the top here with Alan Ramos. Up for the second time today, lined out the first time around. The 237 hitter. Looking for his first knock of the day. First pitch blows right by him on the inside part of the plate. So it's 0-1 to Allen. Made a nice play on defense for the Americans, looking to add to the team on the offensive end. I definitely classify Ramos as a defense-first player, but can also make an impact with his legs, reach on infield singles, steal bases. Just 1 extra base knock on the year, so looking to add to his power arsenal. But a capable contact hitter. Up 2-1 in this count. Big cut and miss there. He chases the outside pitch from Penchek. 2s across the board to Ramos. I mean, even if Ramos can't get a hit here, just looking to get on base because, as you say, Avery, they don't ask how, they ask how many. It's fouled off behind the plate.
Yeah, it'd be good here for Ramos to keep battling and hopefully even, if he can, draw a walk, but if not, get a hit. So it'd be good just to get something rolling here for the Americans, even with 2 outs here in the top of the third.
0-2 pitch, or rather 2-2, is flown foul. Count is all filled up. But regardless of the number of balls, Ramos down to his final strike. It's win or go home for these Americans. And put up or shut up here for Ramos. Payoff pitch. Dribbled down the third base line, foul, and Allen stays alive.
Yeah, Ramos really just battling here, trying to stay alive. He's fouling off a couple pitches, just making sure he can make the most of this here.
Allen looking to get on base. And he lines that into center field.
Yes.
Coming in is Bremner, but it drops in front of him. Ramos with a base hit. And that's the first hit of the Americans' day. No hitter, no more for Penchek. He will not have his second of the year.
Yeah, Ramos there just gets an excellent piece of that ball. And like you said, Andrew, he's not known for his power, but I mean, he drives that to the nice center field, drops right in front of the center fielder there, Justin Bremner. But Ramos gets on base, so maybe something going here for the Americans. It's Ian Wang up next.
Outside of Ramos's own liner that was caught in the shallow outfield by the second baseman Brady McGuire. That's the first ball into the outfield all day for Niagara Falls. And Ramos, even though we say he's not known for his power, has shown the most power of any of these Americans' bats so far today. It's Ian Wang up now, looking to advance him. 325 hitter looking for his first hit of this game. Pickoff attempt unsuccessful on Ramos. Not a guy that's going to be easy to catch.
Now, Ramos is a very quick runner. He's second in stolen bases after Grant Moore. Unfortunately, Grant Moore not with the team, so Ramos with the most stolen bags on the current roster, so he's looking to add to that total right here.
Moore showed his gratitude for his time with the Americans, though. We're big fans of Grant Moore here on the American staff.
Yeah, all around this intern and manager staff, we all loved Grant Moore. Unfortunate enough, his season came to an end a little early, but still have faith in this roster, so we'll see how this game goes.
1-1 on Wang. He tips it foul behind him. Down to his final strike. Americans have not had a runner beyond first base yet today. And with runners on so far in this game, the Americans are 0 for 1. Limited opportunities as Penchek has pitched an absolute gem thus far. Up in the count on Wang. And Wang lines it into right field for the base hit.
Go. Oh.
Drops just
Go,
on
Ramos, go,
that
go,
edge
go.
of the infield dirt, and it's an error by
go,
Slanker.
go.
Slanker bobbles it.
Go,
Wang's
go, go,
headed
go,
to third base. Ramos trying to come in and score.
Yes!
And no throw from Brady McGuire. The Americans are on the board. Cut the lead in half.
Just a nice base running there by the Americans. That ball just driven to Ben Slanker, who tries to pick up that ball and just kind of fumbles it. He just kind of, stumbled over that ball, and Wang's telling Ramos to go, and Ramos identifies what's going on, and he goes home, and now we got Wang on third base now, so the Americans threatening to tie this game up here.
So Wang gets all the way to third base. It's a single and error. So the Skunks with their first error of the game. Americans with their second hit. Swing and a miss for strike one on Gavin Boyle. Boyle's 0 for 1. Already 3 swing and misses in this game, excluding the one he just made. So looking to show his patience down the stretch at the at-bat. Drops in the dirt.
Go.
And now Wang comes home as
Let's
it gets
go.
away from Haynes. The Americans tie it up. Just like that, Niagara Falls taking advantage of defensive miscues and putting 2 on the board to tie this up.
Yeah, Ian Wang with a heads-up play right there, realizing that ball gets away from Jacob Haynes and just trots on home to tie this ball game.
I got to give a lot of credit to Ian Wang because, obviously a very hot hitter right now, but what he showed more than anything else is baseball IQ. Knows how to work counts, knows how to work the base paths, always showing that he is one of the smartest players on this team.
Yeah, Ian Wang, just that guy who's got that IQ through the roof, playing over at NU, and he's just a great and terrific ball player.
Up 2-1 in the count. Gavin Boyle swings and misses. 2s across the board to Gavin. Boyle looking to get on for the first time today and keep this going for the Americans. Chance to take the lead. If the Americans keep parading around the base paths, it's a foul ball by Boyle. Hops right into the first base side stance.
Yeah, Gavin Boyle just battling this time around. Fortunate last time he just struck out, but this time he's coming with a little bit of a different approach. Just trying to maybe get on base here.
I got to give credit where credit's due to Jamestown. One of the most unique color schemes in the entire PGCBL. Boyle, a high pop-up into the middle infield. Marshall's under it, and he makes the catch for out number 3. The Americans score 2 to tie up this game. We'll send it to the bottom of the third and see if with some insurance, CJ Hurley can dial in and keep the runs allowed to a minimum. We'll be right back after the break.
Fans, if you've been to a game, you know that I give away pizza to a lucky fan in the middle of the third inning. But what you might not know is that Sammy's is located right across the street. They've also been family owned and operated for 3 generations since 1962 and originated the half tray of pizza. But if you're hungry at the game, you can stop by the concession stand and get a slice of Sammy's for yourself.
We bring you back for the bottom of the third inning, and the Americans knew the stakes here. They were down 2-0 after 2 innings, and with their base running taking advantage of some defensive miscues from Jamestown to tie up this game. On their last legs, the Americans coming up clutch. They're not going to make it easy for these Skunks today. It's strike 1 on Brady McGuire as Hurley is back out for a 3rd inning of work. Drops in the dirt to make it 1-1. And Avery, what do you think of that 3rd inning for the Americans?
The Americans wasn't the prettiest inning by them on offense, but they scored 2 runs, so you can't be mad about that. They took advantage of Ben Slanker in right field, kind of just bobbling that ball as Wang was pushing Ramos. And Cordero held up that stay sign over at third base, but Ramos runs through and scores that first run for the Americans.
Grounder from Ramos to Miller for out number 1. Alan Ramos showing off the cannon again. And it's 1 down. Brady McGuire has grounded out to Ramos twice today. Loves to hit the ball that way. Pull the ball onto the left side of the infield. Nolan Smith up next. Grounded out right back to Hurley his first time up. Just a bit outside for ball 1. Still scoreless in Batavia, so 2 very close games in these West Division playoffs. Big cut and miss. Puts a strike on the count for Hurley here. 1's across the board to Nolan. A lefty on lefty matchup. This is up and in. Smith working this count well here. He's somewhat of a walk machine for Jamestown this season. Gotta have a guy like that every now and then. And it's outside for ball 3 to Nolan, who's doing a good job working this count per usual. 40 walks on the season for Nolan Smith. That's incredible. And he takes number 41.
Yeah, Nolan Smith there just staying patient at the plate. Hurley there had an early strike on him, but Nolan Smith stays in there and gets a walk there, so now it's up for Jacob Haynes, and double play ball here's alive for the Americans to try to get out of this inning.
Leads the Tarp Skunks in walks, led by 15 in the regular season. So just far and away the most patient hitter for Jamestown. That's right up the middle. Ramos almost cuts it off, but it's a base hit. Jacob Haynes, his first hit of the day, and the Tarp Skunks putting more traffic on the base paths with 1 down for Hurley.
Yeah, Hurley here is definitely getting some traffic on the bases, as we've mentioned, so now he's got to deal with the heavy hitter of Ben Slanker with 2 on here, so we'll see how Hurley handles his approach here.
And I've seen something out here in the stands. It's a bird. It's not a bird. It's not a plane. It's Yankee Doodle Dan out in the stands. Made the trip all the way from Niagara Falls. The true patriot himself showing out here at the ballpark.
Yeah, it's always good for all of these Americans fans, especially our interns as well here, just coming out and supporting this team regardless if the game is at home or not.
Ben Slanker up next, takes a strike down the pike. CJ Hurley looking to get the best of Slanker, strike him out for the 2nd time this season. Not an easy guy to strike out by any means. Just 6 strikeouts on the season. And ropes it into right field for a base hit and more. Slanker has an easy double here. 1 run scores. 2nd one coming around. Slanker headed for 3rd. It's a close throw, but he gets a triple. Sends it right into the very deep corners of right field, and Jamestown doubles up the Americans 4-2.
Yeah,
Ben Slanker unleashes.
Yeah, Ben Slanker there just gets a pitch he likes and drives it over Graydon Miller, and that ball just had some juice on it and just keeps rolling all the way to the right field wall. So Connor Kiefer's got to go and chase after that ball, and as you said, Andrew, Slanker is now on 3rd base now.
For Justin Bremner as well, and Bremner's 1 for 1 on the day, another big hitter. Just won PGCBL Player of the Week, was co-player of the week alongside Ian Wang. And Wang already making an impact on this game as well, but the Americans just being out-hit here so far. A foul tip puts ones across the board to Bremner. And the Americans getting action going in the bullpen now. Shane Prey coming out to serve as bullpen catcher. Also the DH in this game. Roped into left field, drops in front of Boyle for a base hit. That's an easy score for Ben Slanker. Bremner 2 for 2 on the day now and has his first RBI in this game. Jamestown leads 5-2. These bats have been on fire for the Skunks, and it's a good thing that the Americans have their other starting pitchers ready because CJ Hurley is struggling out here right now.
Yeah, unfortunately for Hurley, he's not having the day he wished he had, but hoping that these Americans bats can stay hot to try to keep the score within reach. So we'll see how the Americans respond after this inning.
Gotta stop the bleeding here in the bottom of the third inning. Nathan Borchardt up next. Right down the pike, upstairs for strike one. Hurley had a very sharp first inning, but just trouble with hard contact over these last two. Most notably the triple by Slanker. That catches the righty batter's box, goes outside for a ball. Righty in the bullpen for the Americans. That's all they have behind Hurley. Joe Chaya, the other lefty on the roster, is done for the year, dealing with some arm soreness. 1-2 to Borchardt here. But I don't think it's necessarily a problem to have righties behind Hurley because it can start to silence these strong righty bats for Jamestown. That's right to Graydon Miller, but foul. Miller would have had an easy out number 2 there, but instead, Borchardt stays alive, and Bremner hangs on at first base. Was ready to head to second. Nathan Borchardt in this left-on-left matchup. And appears Hurley's time in the game is winding down, but looking at the very least to get out of this third inning. 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. CJ Hurley strikes out Borchardt. And that is his first strikeout of the day. Much needed.
Yeah, CJ Hurley not having his best of games, but that's a good sign right there out of him to get that strikeout here in the bottom of the third. So he's not showing signs of coming out just yet as he's really still trying to attack these batters here for the Tarp Skunks.
Brings up Blake Herman, who takes one over his head for ball one. Herman, the RBI single his first time around. Tarp Skunks already nearing the bottom of their order for the second time today. And just inning number 3 is that catches the outside part of the zone for strike one. High and outside corner, Hurley with a nice pitch. It's a climb back in this count. The 1-1 as taking off is Bremner. A fly ball deep center field. It's going back and drops near the warning track for a double. Herman's now headed to third base as well. The Tarp Skunks lead 6-2. Blake Herman, the second triple this inning. That was a moonshot. Didn't quite leave the ballpark, but so much power on that.
Yeah, Blake Herman there just absolutely gets a piece of that ball, drives it way into the deep of center field. So Carpenter has to go after and chase that ball, but another run comes in as Will Cordero here comes out to talk to CJ Hurley.
That does it for Hurley's day. We'll get you word on who his replacement will be in just a moment. And here's John Ondas. Ondas, another great pitcher against these Tarp Skunks over the course of the season. A mix of starts and relief appearances for this team. Ondas, a 3 ERA against the Skunks in 2025. The Americans make the pitching change after 6 runs allowed by CJ Hurley. And Hurley, when he's on, he's really on, but those earned runs can start to pile up for him at times. It happened in Batavia, now happening here. And the Americans really only with one way to recover, and that's with their bats.
Yeah, the Americans seemingly here with the tight playoff game here. We're keeping short leashes on their pitchers, and as you can see, Hurley comes out here relatively early as Cordero's trying to play it safe than sorry, so Ondas comes onto the mound, but I still got to give my flowers to CJ Hurley. Although it wasn't his best game, starting out here in a playoff game is definitely not the easiest thing in the world to do.
Just the resilience against such a tough Jamestown lineup. Even when those hits were being given up, managed to get outs. He fought for 8 of them. And now Ondas comes in after 2 2/3 innings from CJ. 6 earned runs, 7 hits allowed, 2 walks, and a strikeout to finish his day. 17 batters faced, 53 total pitches. But Ondas, Hurley's teammate over at NU, and for whatever reason, these NU guys do well here against the Skunks. Ondas, as I mentioned, a 3 ERA against Jamestown. His overall numbers on the year. It's a 3-1 record, 4.11 ERA, and 28 strikeouts. Maybe it's the Niagara-Canisius rivalry showing within this game. I mean, Jamestown full of Canisius guys, and the Americans full of NU players. Brady Marshall comes up for Jamestown. Not one of the Canisius players. He's from Kent State, but Canisius's Blake Herman is on third base as it's strike 1 to Brady.
Yeah, Ondas there. His first pitch looks to be attacking these batters here, so he's just trying to get this last out to get out of this inning.
Plan is for Ondas to go next inning as well. Just on that outside edge to put Marshall down to his final strike. Gonna knock in one more for Jamestown. They have Blake Herman on third after the triple. Ondas throws it just outside, similar spot, but a little further out, and goes for ball 1.
Yeah, I like that pitch out Ondas, trying to get these batters out of the Tarp Skunks to get a little fooled, but Brady Marshall not fooled right there.
Wind starting up here in Jamestown. We can feel it. It's blowing in, so that should help the Americans staff, but that's a swing and a miss for strike 3 on Brady Marshall. 2 total strikeouts in this inning, 1 from Hurley, 1 from Ondas, but in between, Jamestown with a 4-piece on the scoreboard. They lead 6-2 as we bring you to the 4th inning after the break.
Me too. We could really use something.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks, Yankee Doodle Dan.
That's
Back for the top of the 4th inning. This 4th inning here on the Americans Baseball Network brought to you by the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local 237, by Johnny Ryan, and by Coca-Cola. Get all your Coke beverages at the Americans concession stand every single home game. The Americans can manage a comeback here, and the Double Days pull it off. And the Americans will be back home tomorrow for the West Championship, but otherwise wouldn't be the case. It's been great all season having those Coke beverages at concessions, having so many fans in the stands to drink them as well. But the same trio as the 2nd inning coming up here for Niagara Falls. It starts with Graydon Miller. Miller, 296 hitter on the season, grounded out right to Pencheck his first time up. Takes the breaking ball down and away to start things off here. Miller has torn up these Skunks this year. Let's see if he can continue it today. Foul ball evens up the count. Miller. Bat over his shoulder, count even. Product of Drury University. And he lines that right to Nolan Smith for out number 1. The hook on that, partially due to the wind here, which is now blowing in addition to blowing in, blowing a bit to the right side. Smith makes the grab on the hook for out number 1.
Yeah, Gary Miller there just got a nice piece of that ball, but like you said, Andrew, unfortunately the wind just kind of takes it a little bit. Had that wind not really picked up, Gary Miller might have had a single right there.
That could throw off defenders in other situations, but right there, a little bit of luck in Smith's favor as Chris Gazaldo takes the ball. That wind, at the very least, cooling off what was a very hot day to start this game. One's across the board to Gazaldo now. 87 degrees at first pitch. Expect to be down into the 70s by the end of this one. Slow and away, counting Gazaldo's favor. The 2-1 pitch, just outside. And Gazaldo looking to work this count here. With the count at 3-1, just needs one more ball to take the walk. Instead, he makes contact. Ground ball to Marshall at short, trying to beat it out. Cannot get there. A nice throw from Marshall for out number 2.
Yeah, Gazaldo there just drives that ball up the middle. Almost looked like it was going to make out of the infield, but like you said, Andrew, Brady Marshall does make some nice play right there to get the second out for the Tarp Skunks.
It brings up Carmen Panaro. Final hope for the Americans this inning. Extended the inning the last time around. Walked his first time up with 2 down. And there's another dribbler into right field, but the stop by McGuire, and the throw goes wild. Panaro headed to second base. McGuire nearly made an incredible play, but an offline throw allows Panaro to take 2 bases. Incredible for Carmen.
Yeah, Carmen right there with a nice piece of hit, and it was a nice stop there over at second base by Brady McGuire, but unfortunate enough, he just can't handle it enough, and a nice heads-up play by Carmen Panaro to run towards second now, so now we got a runner in scoring position here for Shane Prey.
It was ruled a single in error. The argument that Panaro would have reached first anyways. It's just a matter of would have he gotten to second? They say no. Hard to do that in the infield. Shane Prey, the next batter, has a ball on the count early. 308 hitter on the season. 4-3 ground out last time up today. Slow in the dirt. 2-0 count in Prey's favor with Panaro in scoring position. The Americans haven't had many runners in the scoring spot so far today. Prey fouls it off to the right side for the first strike on this count. Shane, been hot of late, one of the best batting averages on the team. Him and Ian Wang, the 2 leaders now, each had a pair of hits against Newark, and they have been on fire ever since. Lined into right field, foul territory, jumps into the stands again, and now jumps right back down and caught by some fans lingering right by the fence. 2s across the board to Prey after 2 consecutive fouls. Can Prey keep fouling pitches off here? Instead, it's in fair territory to McGuire at short. The throw to first in time for out number 3. The Americans still down 4, unable to score with this combo of hitters once again here in the 4th inning. We'll send it to the bottom of the 4th after the break.
My fellow American fans, my name is Frankie Morris, your social media manager. You can join us all summer long with many promotional nights and tickets just as low as $10. You can call and get tickets at 716-215-6161 and take a crack at the action.
Hey fans, this season you can connect with the Americans like never before with exclusive content on our social media platforms. Make sure you follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter.
Those ats are on your screen right now. At Americans PGCBL on Twitter, NF Americans on Instagram, Facebook and TikTok on that bottom bar. Just Niagara Falls Americans. As we bring you back for the bottom of the fourth inning. John Ondas still pitching after he came in for the final out of the third. Outside edge strike to Eric Weeks. Here's one of those three Canisius batters in the Jamestown lineup. It's Niagara versus Canisius. Showing up in summer ball as it's a big cut and miss from the Canisius bat for strike two. Weeks looking to get out of the 0-2 hole. Pitch from Ondas just outside, and Weeks was ready to either take a timeout or walk off the field depending on the outcome of that pitch. 1-2 is in the dirt. That same pace around the batter's box. Weeks looks a little bum-fuzzled out there.
Yeah, Weeks a little just thrown off here, just trying to stay alive, but Ondas needs to keep attacking here.
Ondas, the 2-2 pitch. Gets in there on the outside edge for strike three. John Ondas, 2 strikeouts in a row. Spans the last 2 innings now. Dom Costello up next.
Yeah, John Ondas there just attacked with the first 2 pitches, and Eric Weeks just stayed alive with keeping his bat on his shoulder, but then John Ondas just goes right back to that outside corner and paints it perfectly to get his second strikeout of the day.
I think it's clear that Ondas brought his best tonight, but we'll see how he can handle the top of the Skunks order after Dom Costello, the final hitter, bats. Brady McGuire on deck, due up in this inning as well. And not soon after is the real heart of this Jamestown order with Haynes, Slanker, and Bremner. The 0-1 right down the pike, but high. Puts ones across the board. Costello, 0 for 1 on the day. Grounded out to Ramos his first time up. Ramos playing deep here. A rocket down the third base side. Ondas ahead in another count. See if it pays off. Looking for 3 consecutive Ks. C.J. Hurley had just 1. That was in his 3rd inning of work. Ondas just the 2nd pitcher for Niagara Falls today. That gets in there for strike 3. Right down the middle. There's a little bit of drop. And that fools Costello. 2 consecutive looking strikeouts, 3 consecutive strikeouts total Will Brady McGuire join this strikeout chain?
Yeah, Honest here just pitching very strongly right out of the pen, and he's been pitching terrific, getting some strikeouts, as you said, Andrew. So if he can get out of this inning, we'll see if the Americans can come back up and just get these bats rolling again.
Just outside for ball one, Brady McGuire. Yeah, Americans bats looking to heat things up after 2 runs in the 3rd inning. Just 1 base runner in the 4th in the form of Carmen Panaro. Prey unable to advance him. Had a nice piece of hitting, but just got cut off at short by Brady Marshall. And upstairs, ball 2. McGuire, first batter to really get ahead of a count against Ondas in this inning. Ondas looking to strike out the side. There's another outside. It's 3-0. And at this point, I mean, strike out the side would be nice, but John just looking to avoid the 4-pitch walk. Jamestown already up 4 runs in this game. Gets in there outside edge for strike 1. Was 2 runs apiece for these teams. Jamestown struck first in the bottom of the 2nd, and the Americans scored 2 in the top of the 3rd to tie it. But the Skunks, a 4-run 3rd inning. Ground ball gets past Ramos again into left field for a base hit. Brady McGuire representing this top of the order well. It's his first hit of the day, though. Nolan Smith, the next customer. Ground out on a walk so far. Now his first opposite-handed matchup of the day as the righty Ondas has replaced Hurley since his last at-bat.
Yeah, Honest there wasn't looking too prone to attack, but wasn't a bad at-bat for him, but unfortunately picks up his first hit of the day.
And taking off for second is McGuire. Fly ball into left field. Boyle chasing it down, and he makes the grab right on the ledge to foul territory. That does it for the inning. McGuire had taken off, but it won't matter as Nolan Smith flies out, and we send it to the 5th after the break.
You know, I'm kind of thirsty. Me too. We could really use something. Yeah. Oh, thanks, Yankee Doodle Dan.
That's better.
Back for the 5th inning here on the Americans Baseball Network, and this 5th inning is brought to you by Tropical Heating and Cooling. You can call 716-870-0753 for expert service. The Americans will finish their 2nd time through the order in this inning. Nick Pass and Connor Kiefer due up alongside the one-hitter Alan Ramos. Ramos will come up for the 3rd time after these 2 bats. It's Nick Pass up first, the .216 hitter in the regular season. Struck out his first time up today in this playoff game. Outside for ball 1. The Americans answered Jamestown's first burst of runs in the 2nd inning, but Skunks have put up 4 more unanswered since then. Pass fouls it off. It's a soft roller on the left side to make it 1-1. Nick Pass spent his first 2 seasons at Eastern Florida State College. The 1-1, a high fly ball into center field. Makes Bremner back up and move over, but he makes the grab for out number 1. It's a nice play by Bremner, and pass is 0 for 2.
Yeah, pass there, just looking to swing out of his shoes there, and he did make some nice contact with the ball, but unfortunately that ball just goes sky high, and it's a nice play there by Justin Bremner to get the first out for the Tarp Skunks.
It brings up Connor Kiefer, also struck out his first time up. Christian Penchek with 3 Ks on the day. Boyle, Past, and Kiefer his victims. Ball 1 on Connor here. The former Tarp Skunk, now in the playoffs with the Americans. Second straight year in the playoffs for him. High fly ball into shallow left. Marshall makes the grab from short for out number 2. So 2 sky-high balls with nothing for the Americans. And I mentioned how the Americans answered that first batch of Jamestown runs. They need to answer to that second, because lose this game and their season is over.
Yeah, the Americans here just got to figure out a way to get their bats up and going again like they did in the 3rd inning. So we'll see how Ramos responds here.
Just outside for ball 1, Alan Ramos. And either way, win or loss, it's the first time in the playoffs in team history for the Americans. So quite the accomplishment and quite the season for Niagara Falls. Makes it 2-0 to Ramos, but on the flip side of things, if the Americans can come back in this game, things escalate very quickly. You go right to the West Championship, win that game, and in just 2 days, you can find yourself in the PGCBL Championship Series. Face the East Division for the first time. Ramos up 2-1 here. Big cut and miss. Gets a small piece of it, but it doesn't matter. It's 2s across the board to Allen. Ramos looking to get on base for the second time today. Smoked one in the center for a single his last time up. 1 for 2 in this game. Takes it outside for ball 3. A walk here, and he can get on for the second time today. Bring up a hot bat in Ian Wang. Payoff pitch. Up and away, and Alan Ramos takes a walk. Ramos was down to his final strike in the final out of the inning, but shows his patience and takes the walk to get on base again. And if he can take advantage of his legs here, chance to get into scoring position.
Yeah, it seems like a little deja vu here from the 3rd inning where Ramos was on first and Wang was up to bat when they finally got that first run across. So let's see if they can reciprocate what they've done earlier in this game here.
Ian Wang, the batter who drove in Ramos last time, as you mentioned, Avery, and he takes ball 1. Penchek, the 1-0 pitch, goes upstairs, and this command of the strike zone that's been so strong for Christian Penchek over the first 4 innings. Again, in a waiver here in the 5th, especially this 3rd time through the Americans order. Always gets tougher on that 3rd time. It's 3-0 to Wang. These Jamestown pitchers, I mean, outside of Penchek's complete game no-hitter, and outside of Colin Bola's 1-run complete game against the Americans, not really known for their longevity. So if the Americans can knock Penchek out, they could be in good shape. And inside strike 1 to Wang. Well, the last 2 times the Americans have come to Jamestown, the Skunks have pulled out Anthony Serrano out of the pen, and he has just been dominant. Wang up 3-1 here. Takes an upstairs ball 4, and that puts 2 ducks on the pond for Gavin Boyle. That's the first time today that the Americans have had 2 base runners at the same time.
Yeah, Ian Wang, they're just staying patient. Not really trying to swing at anything that he doesn't need to. And now he gets rewarded with the free bags. Now we got 2 runners on for the Americans.
Frank Jagoda coming to speak with Christian Penchek. Skunks have action in their bullpen. But we'll see if Jagoda makes the change here. Not quite yet. Penchek hanging in there. At least for this inning. He's 4 2/3 into this game.
It's either Will Taylor or Colin Bola in the pen, I want to say.
Gavin Boyle, after 2 consecutive walks, looking to join the party, get on for the first time today. Strikeout and a pop-out so far. Up at his head for ball 1. Boyle certainly capable of some strong contact. Let's see if he can show it here. Some big whiffs and misses against Penchek so far, but it's an opposite-handed matchup. Boyle sends one right above our heads. Drops behind us on this roof of Dietrich Park. Press box here built on top of the roof. Very unique setup, especially compared to Sal Magley, where it's more so at the top of the stands. Gives us a nice high angle here. Boyle, high fly ball into left center. Marshall backs up from short. Makes a catch for out number 3. Americans strand 2 runners on base, and we'll send it to the bottom of the 5th after the break. The good thing about this inning for Niagara Falls, they're getting Penchek's pitch count up. Can they knock him out after 5 innings of work? We'll see when we come back from break. Penchek up to 89 pitches as we bring you to the bottom of the 5th.
Fans, if you've been to a game, you know that I give away pizza to a lucky fan in the middle of the 3rd inning. But what you might not know is that Sammy's is located right across the street. They've also been family owned and operated for 3 generations since 1962 and originated the half tray of pizza. But if you're hungry at the game, you can stop by the concession stand and get a slice of Sammy's for yourself.
Back for the bottom of the 5th inning, Jacob Haynes starts things off for Jamestown against John Ondas. He'll be followed up by Ben Slanker and Justin Bremner. And this is the test right here for John Ondas. If he can get through this trio of hitters, could be in for a good game out of the pen.
Yeah, especially when you have Jacob Haynes and Ben Slanker back-to-back here in his first 2 batters. He's definitely up for a test. It's a really big, meaty part of this order, so we'll see how John Ondas handles.
I mean, believe it or not, though, Justin Bremner outpacing them both in Player of the Week awards, because when he's on fire, he's really on fire. 2-time Player of the Week compared to Slanker just once. Haynes has never won it. Haynes with 1s on the count here and sends it into left field, but it's foul down the 3rd base line. Count at 1-2. Jacob Haynes in the 1-2 hole against the pitcher Ondas. Did not play in the 3-game set between these squads back in mid-July. Last faced the Americans at the end of June in a home-and-home. Ground ball hops right into the glove of Gazaldo. Throw across the field is in time for out number 1. Graydon Miller was nearly falling off the bag there, but holds on for the out.
Yeah, Chris Gazaldo makes a nice little grab right there as that ball bounces on his way towards Gazaldo. But as you said, Andrew, Graydon Miller has at first base, but regardless, he holds on to that ball and gets the first out here for the Americans.
Absolutely. And Ben Slanker up next. See if the Americans can handle him, but if I had to put my money on anyone in this current game getting drafted into the MLB eventually, it's Ben Slanker. I mean, the guy is about to transfer to Louisville after 21 bombs at Ohio. If he keeps it up on the Cardinals, could be in for a great career, but it drops in the dirt to him to make it 2-0.
Yeah, I mean, just sitting up here in the press box, man, Ben Slanker, known for his name, Slank the Tank. I mean, just looking at him, he is a very strongly built guy. So, yeah, he's definitely got that ability for him to get eventually drafted if he does to the MLB.
2-0 pitch. There's another rocket into the outfield. Pinaro backs up on this one. He's under it to make the grab for out number 2, so a little bit shallower, less power on that ball than his earlier triple. And he's retired for the first time today. Had a walk and a triple, and now a fly out to center as Justin Bremner comes up.
Yeah, clearly John Ondas has been doing very well here. I mean, he's getting some contact out of these hitters, but nothing that is worth worrying about as he's got these 2 outs quick here for the Americans.
Yeah, one thing's for sure about Slanker. When he hits it hard. Right there, the Americans catching on and getting the out as it's strike 1 down the pike to Bremner. John Ondas looking for a 1-2-3 inning on what's arguably the toughest possible combo of Jamestown bats. At least in this 10-batter order. The 0-1 just inside as Bremner has to lift up his bat to avoid it on his elbow. 1's on the count. Ondas looking for his 4th strikeout of the game. Throws one high on the breaking ball.
Yeah, Prey there, just try to frame that ball. Seemed like he wanted to get that strike call out of the ump, but no dice there, so still 1 count here.
Rather past the catcher behind the dish. Prey caught on Sunday, but it's a high pop-up. And Gazaldo comes over from third base to make the catch right on the pitcher's mound. We will send it to inning number 6 after the break. The Americans get a 1-2-3 inning on the toughest possible combo of Jamestown bats. And we'll see what happens in inning number 6 if the Americans can strike right back after the break.
You know, I'm kind of thirsty. Me too. We could really use something.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks, Yankee Doodle Dan.
That's better.
Back for the top of the 6th inning, Andrew Roberts. Avery Vogt will be back with us momentarily. But up to bat to start off this inning is Graydon Miller. It's been a very weird pattern over these last 2 innings for Niagara Falls. The same 5 batters coming up in the odd innings, number 3 and 5 at the very least. And the combo of Miller, Gazaldo, Pinaro, and Prey showing up in the 2nd and 4th innings. And now the 6th for their 3rd time through. 0-1 after the foul ball by Miller. And Miller grounds that to Marshall at short. The throw to first is in time for out number 1. So puts the first out on here. And Avery Vogt back with us after out number 1. Made at first base on the Americans' own first baseman. Chris Gazaldo up next. Still Christian Penchek for the time being. Adds just 2 pitches to his count right there, and another grounder to Marshall at short. Throw is in time. 3-pitch innings so far for Penchek. He's retired 2 in just 3 pitches.
Yeah, Penchek clearly just trying to attack, and to his liking, he's getting some softer contact out of these Americans batters, but if the Americans want to try to stay in this game, he's got to get just a hit across here on Penchek and try to force him out of this game.
Carmpanaro with 2 down has reached base both times today. It's a high pop-up. This one again drops on top of the press box. Panaro, a walk as well as a single and error. The single and E4 got him to second base last time up. And there's a liner into center field. A catch by Marshall in shallow center for out number 3. Christian Penchek with one of his quickest innings of the day. That goes just 5 pitches, and we send it to the bottom of the 6th. Have a day, Christian Penchek. 2 earned runs in 6 innings thus far. See if he keeps going for the 7th. But first, Jamestown up to bat. Nathan Borchardt, Blake Herman, and Brady Marshall set to face Ondas when we're back after the break.
My fellow American fans, my name is Frankie Morris, your social media manager. You can join us all summer long with many promotional nights and tickets just as low as $10. You can call and get tickets at 716-215-6161 and take a crack at the action.
We're back for the bottom of the 6th inning. We'll give you another look across the bracket to Batavia and Auburn. It's a true pitcher's duel in Batavia. Still 0-0 in the bottom of the 5th inning. Aiden Zur with 4 1/3 clean. Pablo Sainz, the starter for Batavia, has gone 5. Muck Dogs also have Luke Rising, likely in line for a playoff game, but they're saving him for the potential championship game as it's a pop-up by Borchardt, caught by Wang at second base for out number 1.
Yeah, nice productive at-bat there for Ondas. First pitch swinging out of Nathan Borchardt, but a nice catch by Ian Wang to get this inning rolling here for the Americans.
John Ondas now with his 10th batter faced, just 1 hit allowed so far. That was the single to Brady McGuire, but tough customer in Blake Herman, who he hasn't seen yet. Hurley gave up a single and triple to Herman. The triple was the knock that officially knocked CJ out of the game. It's 1-0 on the inside pitch to Blake. The triple plated run number 6 for Jamestown in a 4-run 3rd inning. The Americans have yet to strike back, but they're going to need it in their final chance this season. It's the West Division semifinals. Winner goes to the championship. Loser goes home. Their season's over. Check swing right there, and they will say that he went for strike 1. Blake Herman still with the count in his favor, though. Really working it. Looking to get on for the 3rd time today. Just outside on the breaking ball to make it 3-1.
Yeah,
Ondas. looking to avoid putting on his second base runner of the day.
Yeah, Nick Pastor just took a second, trying to remind his pitcher, honestly, just take a breath here. Try not to do anything crazy, just get back to what he's been doing.
3-1 pitch, fouled off towards those first base stands and over them. Fills up this count. Ondas with a critical payoff pitch coming up. Cannot afford to give up anything more to Jamestown, especially without some more runs on the board for the Americans. Payoff pitch. Just upstairs, it's ball 4. Blake Herman has gotten on 3 times in this game. It's the first walk Ondas has given up. Good news for Ondas is the next 3 batters coming up are the guys that Ondas has struck out in this game.
Yeah, Ondas there looked like that pitch might have just nicked the edge of the zone on that pitch, but the umpire disagreed, so gets a walk there. For, like you said, Angel, was only the first walk here for John Ondas, so not the worst luck here for him.
And that does, at the very least, incline the Americans to send another pitcher to the bullpen. Hudson Boring entering the pen to warm up. Appears Luke Blandino, unless there's an emergency, will be saved for a potential championship matchup tomorrow. Americans only get there if they come back, though. It's 0-1 to Marshall. That's right down the pike, but just outside on a late break.
Pass there just seemed to hold that ball in its spot for a good second or two. See if the umpire would have played games there with pass, but decides not to call a strike, and it's a 1-1 even count here.
Nice little cutter there. Now the 1-1 from Ondas. Fouled off. Over the first base stands, it's 1-2. John Ondas looking to strike out Brady Marshall for the second time today. 1 on, 1 out. This could tip the scales in this bottom of the 6th inning. Another foul ball. Americans need to get their bats going if they want to come back in this one, but John Ondas giving them some great stuff on the hill. Has retired 8 batters after Hurley took care of the first 8. And there's a grounder into left field for the base hit. Gets between Gazaldo and Ramos. It's runners on first and second. John Ondas, his first signs of trouble in this game come in inning number 6.
And fortunate enough, John Ondas just gives up a hit that just rolls past Gazaldo and Ramos, but no real signs of weakness yet from Ondas, as he's a strong pitcher, and one positive is the double play ball here is alive.
I mean, both of the hits he's given up have pretty much been seeing eye singles. Nothing too crazy power-wise. He's not giving up that hard of contact. These balls just finding the gaps. Eric Weeks up next, and he hits a pop-up. It's behind Miller. He backs up into foul territory, makes the grab for out number 2. Runners hold. It's exactly what you need with 1 down and 2 on.
Yeah, that ball just seems to go right into the sky again, but was easy enough for Graham Miller to track down over there just into foul territory by the first base line, and makes a nice grab to put Ondas here in a better spot here, just looking for another out here to get out of this inning.
2 consecutive base runners led on, sandwiched between the 2 pop-ups that went for outs. Dom Costello represents the final out in this inning. Takes the ball in the dirt. Costello also struck out the first time facing Ondas. Brady Marshall caught on to him the second time around, but Eric Weeks popping out in foul territory after the strikeout in that second inning of work for John, inning number 4 of this game. 1-0 goes high, up and away. Count is now in Costello's favor with 2 down. Big moment for Ondas, but also a big moment for the Skunks, who are looking to put this game to bed in inning number 6. Another one up and away. 3 balls on the count. Ond is looking to avoid the 4-pitch walk against an 0-for-2 Dom Costello, who's hungry to be on base for the first time today. Hudson Boring ready whenever, but Ond is looking to get out of this 6th inning. Finds the middle of the plate for strike 1. A much-needed strike. I mean, with a 3-0 count, gotta presume that Costello won't have the green light, especially as the number 10 hitter in the order. And he did a good job there. Ondis, 3-1 pitch, goes upstairs. Costello loads the bases. Brady McGuire was the first skunk to get a hit off John Ondis, and there's nowhere to put him this time around.
Yeah, as we see Will Cordero here coming out to talk with Ondis. Not sure if he's going to yank him just quite yet, but just trying to see what the approach is here with the bases loaded.
Avery, it appears this is it. Hudson Boring starting to make his way out of the pen and into the ball game. John Ondis gave the Americans 3 strong innings. No earned runs. Yeah, that could change depending on the outcome of Hudson Boring's final pitches of the inning, but Boring comes in a high-stakes moment here in this bottom of the 6th. He's been in these types of moments before. A 1.15 ERA versus Jamestown, a mix of starts and relief appearances, and just all-around dominance earned him an all-star nod at the midseason marker. 3-0 with a 2.45 ERA, 35 strikeouts, and 5 saves this season. Remains to be seen if he'll finish the game or if the Americans will turn to any of their other available pitchers, such as Matthew Kasperwitz, Luke Blandino, Robert Leach in the building, but was not initially expected to pitch.
Yeah,
struggled against Jamestown.
Although Hudson Boring comes into this game, again, I have to give my flowers to John Ondis. He pitched very well here for the Americans, not giving up much wiggle room for these Tarp Skunks, but Cordero's trying to play it safe, as I've said this game, so he's going to bring in Hudson Boring just to get this last out here, but you got to give these nods to these pitchers so far. It's a very high-tension game and a high-rewarded game here for whoever comes out and wins, but Hurley and Ondis both have had days out here, so let's see if now Hudson Boring can come in and just keep it going here.
I mean, Ondis gave these Americans bats every opportunity, but they need to make some contact and get some hits on the board if they want to make some noise in this ball game and have a chance at that championship appearance. Would be the first in Americans' history after they missed the playoffs entirely in year 1 of existence. And as I mentioned, I mean, this playoff appearance in its own is an accomplishment here for Niagara Falls, but looking to make something of it and get out of this first round. Hudson Boring captaining the ship after Ondis comes out. A high ball 1 to Brady McGuire. McGuire, 1 for 3 on the day, pair of groundouts and a single. Everything he's hit has been on the ground, but it's 2-0 to him here. Not a spot you want to be in. Hudson Boring with 2 balls on the count, and the base is all juiced up. 2 more balls and a run comes in automatically. Boring. Trying to climb back in this count. And throws one down the pike for strike 1. Throws off Brady McGuire. Doesn't even bite at that one.
Yeah, Boring there just seemed to have some zip on that ball there. Gets a nice snap out of Nick Pass's glove. So maybe we'll see if Boring goes back to that pitch again.
Blows it right by him. And sends one on the corner now. Breaking ball to put 2s across the board. A big shout out to Yankee Doodle Dan alongside Roland Snyder, 2 Americans interns in the stands. We say hello. And there's a liner into right field. Kiefer does not get there. Goes into the corner. McGuire takes second base. Both runs coming around. McGuire stops at second. Jamestown leads 8-2. Hudson Boring. Excuse me, that's 9-2. 3 runs came in. Bases clearing double for Brady McGuire. My goodness, this game starting to blow out of control for Niagara Falls. They're really going to need to rally here in the final 3 innings. Brady McGuire with 3 RBIs.
Yeah, Brady McGuire there just gets a nice piece of Hudson Boring. It drives out to the right field just past Connor Kiefer and gets 3 runs in across for the Tarp Skunks.
It's strike 1 on the new batter, Nolan Smith. McGuire is second hit of the day. 3 RBIs, all those runs charged to John Ondas. So unfortunate for him, but as you mentioned, Avery, not easy pitching in a playoff game. McGuire takes third base without even a challenge from the Americans. 1's on the count, 2 down. These Tarp Skunks looking to cruise their way to the West Championship. Big cut and miss. 1-2 to Smith. And I mean, hard-fought game for the Americans, but just so much talent top to bottom on this Jamestown team. The lineup, one of the best in the PGCBL, and they have one of their best arms out here today in Penchek. The Americans with a nice pitching staff, and their lineup has been good throughout the season, but just a little bit shorthanded as guys have departed, whether it be because of injury or personal reasons. It's 2s across the board to Nolan Smith. Smith takes one low and away. And I mean, you got to give credit where credit's due to this Jamestown team. They've been scouting these Americans. I've seen Jamestown staff members in our YouTube chat over the last month or so. They were ready for this. And it's ball 4 to Nolan Smith to put runners on the corners for the Skunks. Hudson Boring looking for that final out, but he's led on 2 consecutive base runners to start his day.
Yeah, Hudson Boring coming out of the pen. He's been pitching pretty well, but unfortunately has not gotten the outcomes that he's wanted. As now he's got the runners on the corners, as you mentioned, Andrew.
The problem here is just he came into such a tough situation. And now Jacob Haynes up to bat. And that goes right by him and grazes him on the arm right there to load up these bases. Jacob Haynes takes ball 4. The bases are all loaded up for Ben Slanker.
This is a dangerous spot here for Hudson Boring against Ben Slanker. Ben Slanker is a tough guy to go against, especially with the bases loaded here. Slanker could be really in here looking for some damage.
A marquee matchup between these squads. The pitcher Boring, a PGCBL All-Star. Slanker, a late addition. However, Ben Slanker has been the most dominant hitter in the entire West Division in the second half of this season. Down 0-1 in the count. Boring another pitch down the pike. Lands just outside and low to even up this count. It's Haynes on first, Smith on second, and McGuire on third. The top 3 hitters in Jamestown's order all on base. They've already scored 3 runs this inning. They came in on McGuire's double. There's a liner into center field. It's going back. Boyle dives, and he cannot make the grab. Ball gets by him. Slanker has a double. Second extra base hit of the game for Slanker, and 3 runs come in. With a pair of bases clearing doubles in this inning. Makes it 12-2. High fly ball into center field for Justin Bremner. Panaro moves around, makes the grab. And we'll send it to the 7th after the break.
Fans, if you've been to a game, you know that I give away pizza to a lucky fan in the middle of the 3rd inning. But what you might not know is that Sammy's is located right across the street. They've also been family owned and operated for 3 generations since 1962 and originated the half tray of pizza. But if you're hungry at the game, you can stop by the concession stand and get a slice of Sammy's for yourself.
Bring you back for inning number 7. Shane Prey up first for the Americans, but the Tarp Skunks now up 10 in this game, and unsure if mercy rule will take effect here in the playoff game, but Prey takes strike 1 down the pike. Tarp Skunks now up by 10. All 10 of those have come unanswered. And Penchek remains in the game for his 7th inning of work. Counts at 0-2. In there for strike 3. Shane Prey goes down in 3 pitches. It's really hard to stay motivated down by this much, but I mean, the Americans just have to remember how great a season they've had. And they've been fighting all season long. They've had 30 victories, some nice comebacks, some nice rallies. Showing fight late in games is going to be very important, as it has been all season. It's a high fly ball into right field. Slanker chasing it down right on the right field corner, makes the grab in foul territory. And that's 2 down as Past is retired.
Yeah, Pastor made nice contact with that ball, had some distance on it, but unfortunately, Ben Slanker was able to track down that ball and make a nice easy catch for the 2nd out here in the top of the 7th.
Brings up Connor Kiefer up next. The final hope to avoid the 1-2-3 for Niagara Falls. The Skunks are already up 10 in this game. Americans on their last legs this season. But it's been a great one. Kiefer takes ball 1 outside. We'll get you those 6th inning sponsors. Missed those back an inning ago. Niagara County Legislator Chris Robins, Local Laborers 91, and Wegmans. But that's a fly ball into left field foul territory. Caught for out number 3 by Brady Marshall. Get you those 7th inning sponsors as well when we come back. The Americans set to take the field. No mercy rule here in the playoffs. We will be right back.
No, I'm kind of thirsty. Me too. We could really use something.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks, Yankee Doodle Dan.
That's better.
Back early for the bottom of the seventh, as this seventh inning is sponsored by Elks Lodge, Bikers Against Child Abuse, the Stalka Agency, and Red Robin Gourmet Burgers and Brews. And Avery has us with a message about joining that sponsor scroll. Avery, take it away.
Hey fans, Niagara Falls Americans with love. Partner with your business. Oh, hey fans, Niagara Falls Americans would love to partner with your business. The Americans have lots of options to make your business known in your community. Please visit our website at www.niagarafallsamericans.com to get involved, and as always, go Americans.
We're back for the bottom of the seventh, as Jamestown looking to expand on their 10-run lead. Some changes for the Americans in this seventh. Matthew Kasperwitz comes in to pitch, and Logan Stickler subs in for Alan Ramos, taking third base as Chris Gazaldo shifts over to shortstop. Matt Kasperwitz, the fourth pitcher in for Niagara Falls. Hudson Boring had a tough time when he came in with the bases loaded an inning ago, and now it's 12-2 Tarp Skunks. Boring only charged with 3 of the 6 runs from that sixth inning. But the Americans need to keep it clean on the pitching end and get the bats going down the stretch of this game if they want a chance to win. Christian Penchek has gone 7 strong and held the Americans to just 3 hits. And I mean, aside from knocking Penchek out, how can the Americans get back in this game, you think, Avery?
I think the Americans just got to have strong innings on defense here. They just got to go out and just get some soft contact, get some strikeouts. Just don't give these Tarp Skunks any more chances to get any runs across. And then in turn of that, they got to go out there and just swing these bats. Just try something, get a little aggressive. Just send anything you have here at the Tarp Skunks to try to push any runs across.
Definitely. Gotta continue to look for that right pitch. It'll eventually come. Nathan Borchardt up for what's now the 4th time today. Jamestown had all 10 batters come up in that 6-piece back in inning number 6. They doubled the amount of runs they scored. It's now 1-1 to Nathan. Caspi sends it down the pike. It's a high pop-up, and Stickler moves over to make the grab. So Logan Stickler making his debut on defense after being a DH-EH exclusive player for most of this season, was having some arm problems, but his arm's gotten better and better over the course of the season, so he's getting his chance at third base.
Yeah, Stickler coming in here in the late roundings of this game. So he's definitely getting his shot here to prove himself. So we'll see what he does when he gets up here.
And it's a low ball 2. As Blake Herman's up to bat, has gotten on every time today. Now 2-1. Blake Herman has not been retired yet. Can Kasperwitz do the trick? It's just on that outside edge to even up the count. Herman sends it right up the middle, past Wang for the base hit. The Tarp Skunks are not done. And Blake Herman has gotten on 4 times today. 3 of them have been hits.
Yeah, Blake Herman there with a just nice piece of hitting as that ball rolls past Ian Wang and unable to grab it. As now Tarp Skunks have their first runner on here in the bottom of the 7th.
And this Jamestown squad right now looking like the best in the West Division. The Muck Dogs lead Auburn just 2-1 over in Batavia. These Jamestown bats seeming like they could compete with anyone as a ground ball right to Wang at second. Out it short for Gazaldo, and it's a double play. That does it for inning number 7. The Tarp Skunks cannot add to their lead. The Americans looking to rally back in inning number 8 when we come back from break.
My fellow American fans, my name is Frankie Morris, your social media manager. You can join us all summer long with many promotional nights and tickets just as low as $10. You can call and get tickets at 716-215-6161 and take a crack at the action.
We're back for the top of the 8th inning. The Americans with their final chances to rally back in this game. And Christian Penchek done after 7 innings. Coming in out of the bullpen is Jace Rutkowski. 2-0 with a 4.21 ERA and 11 strikeouts. And he's a product of SUNY Niagara. So with Gavin Boyle due up soon for these Americans, a SUNY Niagara pitcher to face him. That's very interesting strategy from Jamestown. Everything here seems very intentional in what these Skunks are doing.
Yeah, Rutkowski playing with Gavin Boyle and some of these players here in the Americans, so he's going to end up likely knowing more of their tendencies and what they like to do, so gives a little bit of an advantage here for the Tarp Skunks.
But we'll see if the Americans can put some runs up nonetheless. They need it. As first up in this inning is the pinch hitter Logan Stickler. Rather, defensive sub took over at third base. But the new third baseman, his first at bat of the day. Alan Ramos finished 1 for 2 with a walk. Stickler coming off a 3-hit game against the Ironbacks. Swings and misses on strike 1 here. And Stickler, what he's been able to do as just a rising freshman at York College of Pennsylvania is very impressive in this league. Had a chance to play wiffle ball with Logan Stickler the other night. It was a fun experience. Wiffle ball, clearly not the same as baseball, otherwise Stickler would have annihilated all of us, but it's 0-2 to Logan. Rutkowski, the 0-2 pitch, is fouled off. Batavia up 2-1 on Auburn in the top of the 7th. So, barring an Auburn comeback or Americans comeback, it's looking to be Tarp Skunks and Muck Dogs, just as it was on Sunday in Batavia, to decide this West Division. But it's a swing and miss for strike 3 on Logan Stickler. This 8th inning is brought to you by Seneca Niagara Resort and Casino, the official casino of the Americans. More winning, more comfort, more entertainment. Go to SenecaNiagaraCasino.com for more. Brings up the number 2 hitter in the Americans order, Ian Wang. Now from the right side to face the southpaw, Rutkowski. So not only did the Tarp Skunks switch to a SUNY Niagara pitcher, but they also switched to a lefty to face Gavin Boyle after this. Wang with the advantage being able to switch to the right side. 0-1 pitch to Ian is a rocket foul. First base side. Wang down in the count, 0-2 with 1 out. And nobody on for these Americans. Niagara Falls needs 10 runs over the next 2 innings or their season is over. Wang with the number 31 jersey on his back. Can he help the Americans to their 31st total win this season between regular season and playoffs? To be fair, that does not count the 2 out-of-league games the Americans won over the Diesel this season. Americans 2-1 in out-of-league games. The loss to Power City in 4.5 innings. Wang calls timeout. Going to regroup down 2 strikes. Wang has gotten on twice today. Single and a walk. And that drops low. Down and away. To put a ball on this count, it's 1-2. Wang did go all the way to third base and score Ramos off of his single, but the error got him the 2 extra bases. Wang, as a result, no RBI, but foul ball is off the pole to the light for Jamestown. Some very nice lights here at Dietrich Park. And just like the lights are on here in Jamestown, they could not be brighter for these Americans. Meaning more than ever. It's do or die. 10 runs or the American season is over in this first round of the playoffs. Foul ball for Ian Wang makes it 1-2 on the count.
Yeah, Wang here is really battling, really falling off these pitches. He's just trying to stay alive here. Try to get something here in these dying moments of this game just to spark something here for these Americans.
Wang. Down 1-2. Looking to recover. Just outside, evens up the count. There's one thing Ian Wang knows how to do well on a consistent basis. It's work counts.
Yeah, I'm not much of a switch hitter connoisseur, but if I had to guess, being able to bat from both sides, he's definitely got that IQ when it comes to being patient at the plate.
Big cut and miss for strike 3. And I mean, Wang's shown his baseball IQ in many different ways, but takes a hack there. And it's 2 consecutive strikeouts for Jace Rutkowski. Stickler and Wang go down swinging. Gavin Boyle, who's already struck out once today, the final hope for Niagara Falls. And this is a left-on-left matchup, a SUNY Niagara on SUNY Niagara matchup. Could be the game right here. Americans do have one more inning, but need Boyle to contribute if they want 10 runs.
Yeah, they just got to get something going here, and if they can't quite get the 10 more runs they need, but if they can get a couple runs across, it'll be a good sign here to end this game.
Rutkowski, the 1-0 pitch. Big cut and miss for Boyle. And I mean, I think at the end of the day, this has really been a story of personnel. Start of the year, these teams pretty evenly matched, 3-3 over the first 6 games. But over this last month, the Skunks have added, and the Americans, for the most part, have only lost talent, as guys have been injured. Grant Moore, unfortunately, getting hurt, as well as Ethan Madison, Paul Delanto, and Derek Jesmondi. Boyle has hung in there down the stretch of this season. One of the best remaining bats for the Americans. Up 2-1 in the count. Big cut and miss. Makes it 2-2. Boyle an OPS of 821 on the season. 19 RBIs. Boyle with the even count. It's a check swing, and that one is pulled back in time. Counts all filled up. Boyle ready for the payoff pitch from Jace Rutkowski. What can he do with it against his college teammate? It's upstairs for ball 4. Gavin Boyle takes a walk. The Americans with a pulse in this top of the 8th inning.
Yeah, Gavin Boyle there just battling back after getting a couple early strikes there. So he earns a walk. So we got something going here for the Americans. Just up to Graydon Miller now to try to keep this inning alive.
Graydon Miller up next. Second-year American, just like Gavin Boyle. 296 hitter, 718 OPS, and 30 RBIs. That's more than double what he had in year 1. Comes from Missouri. Inside at his knees for ball 1. Now an opposite-handed matchup with Boyle on first base. A big opportunity for Graydon Miller as the Americans are on their last legs in this semifinal game. It's 1-1. I mean, if Jamestown keeps playing like this, they have 12 runs and 12 hits in this one. These are very strong Americans pitchers that have come in today. I think this just shows that Jamestown has the upside to duke it out with anyone in this league. Their pitchers, not necessarily guys who came in from the highest profile places, but they're gritty and they get the job done. And then this lineup just absolutely loaded with talent.
Yeah, these Tarp Skunks definitely have some hot bats on their team. They got some guys that could do everything. And, yeah, like you said, these guys can definitely do some damage here if they go deep in this playoffs. And we'll see how they do if they can make it all the way to the championship.
The sun is setting here in Jamestown, and if the Americans cannot rally here, the sun is also setting on their season. It's at Miller's knees again to even up this count. Miller looking for an extra base knock here. That could get Boyle in. But a swing and miss instead. Miller chases the low pitch. Jace Rutkowski did give up a walk in between, but strikes out 3 batters in the 8th inning. Niagara Falls has just one more inning to put up runs. And we head to the bottom of the 8th after the break, where Jamestown will have the chance to further expand on this 10-run lead. We'll be right back.
Fans, if you've been to a game, you know that I give away pizza to a lucky fan in the middle of the 3rd inning. But what you might not know is that Sammy's is located right across the street. They've also been family owned and operated for 3 generations since 1962 and originated the half tray of pizza. But if you're hungry at the game, you can stop by the concession stand and get a slice of Sammy's for yourself.
We bring you back for the bottom of the 8th inning. 2-1 lead for the Muck Dogs over the Doubledays over in Batavia. The Americans were unable to rally in inning number 8. They'll need all 10 runs in the top of the 9th. And they'll also need to make sure no more come in this bottom of the 8th. Eric Weeks, Dom Costello, and Brady McGuire set to face Matt Kasperwitz. Eric Weeks. On the day, he's 0 for 2. Sac fly for his sole RBI. And Kasperwitz gets a strike on him. John Ondas managed to strike out Weeks back in inning number 4. Weeks, a fly ball into center field. Panaro comes in after originally thinking it was behind him, makes the grab on the slide for out number 1. An initial misread from Panaro, but a nice recovery.
Yeah, Panaro, they're just a little confused about where that ball is going, but like you said, Angie, recovers on the play and just sprints towards that ball, makes a nice grab as he's sliding towards it.
Brings up Dom Costello, the lefty. And yes, a nice play from Carmen. Costello 0 for 2 with a walk. Kasperwitz, the 0-1 pitch. Finds the inside edge of the zone. Jamestown doesn't really need to score anymore. Just needs a clean 9th inning. It's an outside ball 1. These hitters showing the patience, seeing what they can get, but Kasperwitz strikes them out. Not the end of the world for Jamestown. They are gearing up for the West Championship, and not surprised they made it. This team loaded with talent, and a swing and miss there from Costello. Brady McGuire up next with 2 up and 2 down for Jamestown. McGuire 2 for 4, single and a double over his last 2 times up. The double was bases clearing off of Hudson Boring. High fly ball. Panaro backs up in center, makes the grab for out number 3. The Americans with a 1-2-3 inning. And appears we just lost our camera. My apologies. We'll work to get it back when we come back from break.
You know, I'm kind of thirsty. Me too. We could really use something. Yeah. Oh, thanks, Yankee Doodle Dan.
That's better.
Back for the 9th inning. We're working to get you this camera back, but in the meantime, Chris Gazaldo up to bat. Chris Gazaldo up 1-0 in the count. And he fouls it off to the right side. My apologies about that brief blip in the radar. Technically here, our camera is back. It's now 1-1 to Chris. Andrew Roberts back here with Avery Vogt, the Americans on their last legs a rally here, or they go home and their season's over. And Avery, what do you think the Americans need to do here for a chance to come back in this game, or at least make an effort?
They got to stay patient here at the plate. Try not to swing into anything too crazy. And if you draw a walk, get on base. But just got to make sure you keep your head out there and just try anything that really will work.
Up over his head for ball one. Or ball two, excuse me. Gazaldo up in this count. He's showing the patience, Avery. I like what I'm seeing from Chris here. Still Rutkowski in the game for Jamestown, and Gazaldo takes another one outside. Appears over these last few batters, Rutkowski beginning to lose a little bit of his command of the strike zone, despite the early strikeouts for him in the eighth. See if the Americans can take advantage. I don't think Jamestown will mess around. It's a matter of how long they leave Rutkowski in this game as Gazaldo takes ball four. We'll give you your ninth inning sponsors. Ninth inning sponsored by Casella, Salino Plumbing, Blaze Brockway Contracting, and Wright Beverages. Carmen Panaro up next. Made a couple of nice catches in the bottom of the eighth. He's gotten on twice today. Looking to make that 3 times. Up and away for ball one. Panaro's already taken a walk in this game. Can he take another here? Panaro. The lefty takes up and away. Chris Gazaldo heads to second. But imagine it'd be ruled defensive indifference here. Run really doesn't matter to Jamestown with this 10-run lead. The 1-0 pitch, big cut and miss. Panaro takes a hack. No avail there, but I don't mind that swing, especially given the count here. Still in his favor. Up at 2-1. Gazaldo with a lead towards third now. Right on that upper corner outside. Panaro even in this count at 2-2. Rutkowski clutching up when he needs it most. Can he get the final strike on Panaro for strikeout number 4 of the day? It's in there for strike 3. And Panaro is up in arms about this call.
Yeah, rightfully so, Andrew. That ball seemed to be way down in the zone, but the catcher there and Jacob Haynes seemed to just pinpoint that ball, and Carm's going to get his money worth and argue with the umpire, but not going to change his result.
He is mumpsimus as he heads to the dugout. Shane Prey up next. And that goes to the upper outside corner on Prey for ball 1.
And excuse me, I would like to note that I believe Branston Lindquist is now catching behind the plate here for the Tarp Skunks.
Branston Lindquist stepping in for Jacob Haynes. Lindquist, a sharp hitter for them as well. 263 hitter with a 785 OPS. But Shane Prey, who's up to bat right now, can one-up that one at 308. We'll see if he can get a hit here. Would be his first of the day. He's 0 for 3 in this game. One's across the board to him. And that bounces out of the glove of Lindquist, allows Gazaldo to take third base on ball 2. Chris Gazaldo has gone all the way across the diamond, and the Americans with the chance to get their first run across after 10 unanswered from Jamestown. Need a lot more than just one here with 1 down, but certainly helps. Upstairs to make it 3-1. Prey looking to take the walk with the count in his favor, but runners on the corners for Nick Past, the Americans' own catcher. 3-1 pitch is in there for strike 2 on the inside edge. Prey not too happy about that call either, but steps back in. Payoff pitch coming up for Jace Rutkowski. The Americans need to take advantage of this one. Here it comes. Swing and a miss for Prey. He chases the low strike 3. And the Americans are officially down to their final out of the season. Nick passed, set to face Rutkowski. It's been all strikeouts and walks so far for Jace. No contact in fair territory by these Americans off the southpaw, and 7 batters faced for Jace. 2 walks, no hits allowed. And not even groundouts or flyouts for this team. Swing and a miss. Pass just gets a piece of it, but it's strike 1. Jamestown, 2 more strikes. They win this game. They advance to the West Championship. That's all they need. Can they do it? It's up above pass head to even up this count. And as we prepare for potentially the end of my time, as well as Avery's time on the Americans Baseball Network, I just want to thank Whitley Nichols, Emma Crocker, for this opportunity, alongside Can USA GM Mark Witt, owner Robbie Nichols. It's been a great summer out here in Niagara Falls. I've enjoyed every moment. I've grown so much as a broadcaster. And I also want to thank all these players and all our fans for welcoming me with open arms. It's up and away for ball 2 to put 2s across the board. And Avery, most of all, it's been a pleasure to share the booth with you all season.
Yeah, it's been a great summer, Angio. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like the season's going to end the way we wanted it to. But, yeah, it's been a thriller to share this booth with you, Angio. It's been a great time. I've definitely learned some things along the way from you, and it's just been a fun summer all around.
Swing and a miss. Nick Pass strikes out, and that's the game. Jamestown wins 12-2. Doesn't even let Gazaldo score. The Americans held to just 2 runs in this game. The Jamestown Tarp Skunks clinched the first spot in the PGCBL West Championship. The Batavia Muck Dogs up 4-1 over Auburn, looking to face them. That game will take place tomorrow. But unfortunately, my time here on the Americans Baseball Network with tonight's game has come to an end. Thank you so much again to everyone who's tuned in all season long. Some shout outs to the Americans fan base for tuning in, as well as parents of players, as well as my own parents, my girlfriend Morgan Spriggs, and Avery, as I mentioned. Great sharing the booth with you. If any of you want to keep up with my broadcasting career beyond this summer, you can follow me on X at AndrewRoberts1 or on Instagram at AndrewR.1008. I will drop those in the chat under my Boston Sports Mania YouTube channel that some of you, I believe, have been interacting with over the course of the season. But Avery, pleasure to be on the call with you as always.
Yeah, it's like I said before, it's been a great season. It's been super fun here on the Americans Network, and I've really learned a lot here. I mean, I've gone from PA, I've gone from everything, and I've gone to color commentator, so it's been a fun season. I got to shout out all the interns, too, that I've worked alongside this year. It's been a great summer. You know, we got from the box office with Teddy Yo and Roland Snyder. They've been a blast. Instance host, Yankee Doodle Dan, he was a handful, but he was a great help to these fans. We got our social media managers, Frankie Morris and Leah Fron. They've done really well on Instagram. And Cam was a great DJ. And even Riley Drew Cross, a great clubby and an even better scorer. He's done just everyone, even Whitley Nichols and Emma Crocker, just everyone who helped out with this season has been amazing, and this team has done even better than we expected, so it's been a thriller of a year.
Once again, thank you to the players, thank you to the fans, all the other interns, and Doc Fonts as well, who we've shared the press box with all season long, and of course Can USA Management, Whitley and Emma down in Niagara Falls, and Mark and Robbie overseeing it all. They have their Muck Dogs still in the mix for a West Championship spot. But the American season has come to a close after 30 wins and so many memories. Final score from Jamestown, Tarp Skunks 12, Americans 2. Signing off for one last time, I'm Andrew Roberts, and it's been a pleasure to be your broadcaster here in Niagara Falls this season. Wherever my future takes me, I hope to see you all there. Thank you so much.